Okay, my loves. I am here with a special guest, actually, and I think it's been a couple years in the brewing. I met
Mhm.
Carmen Dolz in my yoga studio in Medellin a couple of years ago, and she's joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are on the planet,
Mhm.
because she's going to actually be a special guest in our group this whole month. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get to know each other, and I just wanted to spend a little time this morning sharing and introducing her to you all so that you know who she is and you know what to expect. And she's going to be bringing us some pretty cool gifts in the form of Qi Gong. So Carmen,
Mhm.
thank you so much for being here with us. And
Yeah,
yeah, I'm glad to get a
thank you.
minute to hang out.
Thank you for inviting me. It's so exciting. I've been following you, as you know, for a while, and it's great to be here. Delighted.
Yeah. Well, so one of the reasons you're here and one of the reasons our connection makes sense is you are a teacher and practitioner of a particular kind of qigong. Can you tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about that?
Yep. Yeah. I am a Qigong teacher, and I've been for a number of years now. I mean, I started practicing Qigong 17 years ago. And I never imagined I was going to be a Qigong teacher. I always thought Qigong teachers were these obviously Asian people who maybe done a lot of work in a temple, or they've been up in a monastery for many years. And then one day they just come and teach others. So I always put it out there. And but then after practicing and practicing for many years, one day I came across the teacher that I was looking for. And when I said, which is the creator of Ren Shui, and this is the Qigong that I teach. And I met him 7 years ago, and I said, I really want to go deep into Qigong. And I know now, having tried many different styles, I know that this is the one. And I said, what can I do? And he said, well, join the teacher training program.
Mm.
So you probably know, being a yoga teacher, a teacher trainer, that the best way to get deep into one of these practices is actually put yourself out there to show it to others.
Yep.
So it's more like you just want to share it. And this is why I'm a Qigong teacher, because the moment I found this style, I thought, this is the one. And I just wanted to share with as many people as possible. And this is why I'm delighted to be here talking about it. I can't stop. You're going to have
Please
to
don't
stop me.
ever stop. Don't stop. And so the work that I do, I think a lot of, I was reflecting on this morning before our call. I think so much of the work and so many assumptions about the work in the field that I do is that it's all in your head, that it's, if you like, just do enough of the right thing. Our culture is already so cerebral, and we think, even the words that we think,
Mm-hmm.
and that is our most powerful tool, as that we believe to be. But what I'm really excited to have you here, because the work that I do is bridging the gap between science and spirituality, which is getting us partially out of our head and into our bodies, because we aren't just one or the other. And the work that can happen, and the transformation that can happen, needs to happen in both. When I start these morning minutes every day, I say, take a deep breath. And that's not some spiritual woo-woo thing. That is coming from a neuroscience, biophysiological,
Mm-hmm.
breathe, get into your body, get out of your head, because there's so much wisdom in our bodies. There's so much potential for healing physically, emotionally, psychologically, for creating wellness within our own bodies, that I know I don't emphasize that enough in what I'm sharing, but I do know that it's true, having a background in yoga, in Reiki, in psychology, in neurophysics, neuroscience. and also coming from a background of meditation, that the meditative practice, we're observing our minds, but we're not in there, like pull back from the thoughts. And so I'm really excited to have you here. And I love something that you shared. You said like, oh, I'm not a teacher. That's something out here. And now you are. And this is how our perceptions can change. You will be right for as long as you want to be right. Oh, I'm not that. Oh, I can't do, right?
Yeah.
Had that story about books and publishing and writing, and so I think maybe the best way to spend a little bit more time this morning is just to let people know that you're going to be joining this community Monday mornings, this time on Mondays, right? Next week, you're going to offer some introduction and some basic practice, right?
Like a taster.
And then, a little teaser, get us started, get us moving. And then Monday the 26th, you're going to invite folks to come on live with you so that you can all connect in real time. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would be really, really good. I mean, I'll come next Monday and offer a kind of taster, something that you can watch even in your own time and then take something from. But what I also would like is to offer to work all together. And this is about being live and creating a class. And this is really, we create a Qi field. And Qi fields are extremely powerful. So I really want to show you what that is. And you were absolutely right about this is an ancient way of connecting your body, connecting your mind, and connecting with the Qi, which is the life force you have inside. So for me, it's the most holistic practice I know. And I'm really looking forward to tell you more.
That's amazing. Yeah, I one of the things that I love to share here in this community is various modalities and concepts and practices that that anyone can tune in for a little bit and have something to instantly sort of feel better, but also then implement over time to have a lasting effect. And I have just very superficial practice and recent experience with Qi Gong. So I'm very looking forward to getting to know your practice with you. And so Monday, the 26th at 10 a.m. Eastern is when our class will be all together. So I'm inviting everybody to mark their calendars now, drop a comment, say me or I'm in, and we'll make sure that you get reminded, because we do want folks attending in person because of that, the Qi field, the connecting around the world, but at the same time, I used to think, oh, well, you can't have meaningful connections through this device. I was sort of a technophobe. But now I've been holding these women's circles for years with women across the world, and the power of the experience, not because of the device. The device allows for us to connect, but the intentionality of connecting with ourselves and with others across huge amounts of space, it really amplifies the potential, and it's really cool.
Yeah, completely, because that's the intentionality. That is the information that you put in the Qi field. And the Qi, the life force, is inside us, is everywhere, but actually is a messenger, carries information. So the information you put there, you will really take in as well, and you share. And I was the same, I always felt that you needed to be with people in the same room to build the Qi field. And now we had lots of experience, especially since the last few months, as most people, having all of these retreats, workshops, classes online. And this is not stopping us from being very, very connected. And it's wonderful, wonderful. You will hopefully feel it when we do the class. Mm-hmm.
And you just said something that I think is really important to draw our attention to, that that whatever we're putting sort of the intention to amplifies, right? And I think one of the things that's so important to realize is that that happens on purpose or not. So if you're having a, you know, mental spiral of anything that, whatever is in your process, that is the intention. You are setting it, you without even meaning to, without even knowing it. And that, you know, what you resist persists. Whatever you're thinking about is basically what you're feeding your field, right? It's like the energetic nourishment. And when I cued into that, the other reason Carmen's here now this month is because Qi Gong relates to the theme of dating yourself, of really getting to know yourself, really tuning in and nourishing yourself. And when I realized that my thoughts were like the food for my soul, and I looked closely at them, and I saw that the way that I related to myself was more toxic and more harsh than I would ever let anybody else relate to me. But meanwhile, I was living on it. It was 24/7. And I have the ability to change that. I do. And it's because it's within, because it's energetic, because it's in my thoughts. This is where what I teach of like the subtle shifts have radical results. It's the smallest thing, one like in tiny little speck of intention, one concept, one idea can remake the whole world on this energetic plane. And for me, that was so significant, so significant. So I'm really looking forward to having you here, bringing your expertise and your vast knowledge to support us in another and new way, to really, to give us another tool, to give us another dimension. It's almost like a whole new plane on which to play, right? It's a whole nother conceptual dimension. There's one question I want to ask you before we tune out this morning, or sign off. You talk about the energy and chi field. I think about mind, body, and spirit. Do you relate spirit to chi, like the life force? Is that just another way of thinking about it, another word that can be used in place of, or do you think they're different?
Well, it's a very interesting question. Thank you, Sarah, because you often when you talk body, mind, and spirit, and we talk body, mind, and chi. And what happens is when you're really connecting your body and your mind to your chi, you realize that what you're doing is you tap in and learning to really go into your true self. So we talk about Shen, Shen, and Shen, you could say, is a spirit, but it's not really the translation. Shen is a Chinese word, and really what it means is the true self. And the true self is also a spirit, in the sense that it transcends your body. So it's funny how sometimes to think spirit equals Shen will be to just be very Westerner, trying to find the definition that goes from the West to the East. But Chinese is
which is, again, amazing, it's right here.
Exactly, yeah.
It's so like I have to understand it with my brain.
Yeah, but the nearest I can say would be like soul, but with you inside here as well. So Shen is really what we say is the true self, is your authentic self, which is deep inside. It's a form of chi, very, very refined. that gets the Qi from this area where the third eye is, which is a Qi center, an energy center, a Dantian, but actually inhabits here, which is the heart, the middle Dantian. And Shen is, then you could say, is, of course, it's a spiritual, because human beings, we're all spiritual. Even if we don't want to, it's because we haven't connected deep inside with ourselves. There's no such a thing as a
not
human.
You can't
it's
choose,
not just your
right?
head. Yeah. So this is what we use, especially. I'll be talking a lot about body, mind, because Shen uses the mind. The mind is a manifestation of the Shen. And the consciousness is a manifestation of the Shen. But we talk especially about body, Qi, and Shen, your true self, manifested in your mind and going inwards to find that self, which is purely spirit as well, because we transcend the body when we die. We're only here visiting, And I think everybody agrees on that.
I really appreciate this, and it's reminding me how having a language that is foreign to us is really helpful in sort of expanding concepts, because anyone who's been around me knows how I'm so into language and words, largely because I really struggled with learning. Even my native language, English, was such a challenge for me. And so I've been really curious about words and how we come to place meaning on them and concepts. And just listening to you explain Shen showed me how I'm still carrying some sort of projecting onto my spirit my personality quirks and traits, and sort of like taking my spirit and trying to just disembody me. It's just me, which doesn't give it enough, it's sort of putting spirit in a box, true self and soul. Because now I understand it, I've just defined it and now limited it. So I love having a new word to play with, especially one that's like an actual character that we can't, in English or in our native language, we can't just be like, oh, this equals this, because it doesn't. And I really appreciate the distinctions.
Well, when you are doing something with the Chinese, and this is ancient China, and ancient Chinese, is really beautiful to realize that there's so many ways of looking at the world, and the idea of being Shen, your Shen, is something that for Westerners is like, listen, because we don't tend to put everything, life in a holistic way, whereas very much, Shen can manifest without a body and can manifest without a consciousness. So you can't separate it. This is what we do in the West. We tend to, this is this, this is this, this is this. This is a very holistic practice, and you are one with Qi, and Shen is Qi, but in a very sophisticated form of Qi, which manifests in the body and in the mind, and puts information in the Qi. So Shen is, you are the master, the master of Qi, the master of your life. And this is why practicing Qi Gong can really, really help you, because it's holistic. It will help you physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, at all levels. Really.
And I think we always need this. We need to know that we have this tool, right? That we are the master, that we are the only one in all of the world that has the tools, the positioning, the capacity to make our lives the way that we want and need them to be. It's easy to forget that, and especially now with what's going on in the world, even before the last 8 months, humans on Earth needed this, but especially now. This is Mental Health Well-Being Month. People are under extraordinary, unprecedented challenges. So I'm really grateful that you're going to be sharing. I can't wait till Monday next, and the Monday after that, the 26th. I'm really looking forward to both of them. So thank you again for tuning in, for being willing to share
Yeah.
and bringing your gifts to this community.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And me too. I'm really looking forward to coming back.
Excellent. Great.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. If you're interested in joining us and joining Carmen, please make sure to comment to this video so that we know to keep you in the loop. Mondays, 10 a.m. Eastern for the next 2 weeks. We will, this week, next week, and the following. So see you soon. Bye, Carmen.
Yeah, thank you. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Oh.